record. And then I will screen share so we can say welcome to everybody to the next session, this next class for Strong Meat. And I have a great message for you today. I'm sure we're going to get into this. We have Dondee here today with us.
Hi,
and
guys.
maybe Sonia will show up too, but we do have Dondee and her beautiful face. Isn't that wonderful?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start screen sharing New Jerusalem. If I can get that thing moved out of the way. Okay. Hopefully our internet connection will hang in there with us too. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you wanna look at eagles or
Yes.
you would like something else? Eagles?
Let's look at eagles.
Okay, eagles plural. Let me show you what else you can do with eagles. You don't have to put in the eagles. Let's say you want to find eagled, eagles, eagler. You know the different endings of a word. Well, when you want to search everything eagle that's related, just put an asterisk, and it'll search anything that has even those letters, those first letters in it, you know. It'll search anything with those first letters in it that are in the Bible, in your English, you know, in the English. So search for eagle that way and it'll find eagle and eagles and anything else with that first.
Fly, eagle speed, eagle sighted.
Yeah. Good.
Got it.
You found it. Okay. So that kind of gives us a rundown of everything. And over here, you see the numbers. This is the Hebrew, and one Greek. Okay, or one Greek reference, but that has two references. This Nesher has 26, 2 for this one. This one is a huge reference for the eagle, I guess. And this one here, 336. So, I kind of like the small ones. I know this one here and this one here is the ones I usually go with. I recognize those numbers, but this one obviously in the Greek too. But these two, not so much. Let's have a look at what they're saying about these two right here. Yeah, it's not the eagle itself at all. Isn't that weird? Not the eagle itself at all. Let's look at this one. I don't think it is either. Part of, wonder how if they ever translate that as eagle. So you want to know if they ever translate that at these numbers as eagle, then you go like this. You put the number in, H1768 eagle. Okay, that's what you do. And it'll say, no, it never translates it as eagle. Isn't that strange? I've never seen that before. Next is, we'll do this one. I wonder where they're getting the eagle then.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Whoops, I didn't want to do that. I want to take this one out of there. Okay, and then put eagle here. So you're asking it to search for that number and eagle, not that one either. So I don't even know what's going on here, why they would translate that as eagle. See, here's all the references. You see how I did that? You just click that arrow there and it gives you all the references of what they are.
Oh, okay.
How they're translated. Look at, you see eagle right there. See that?
Just one. Yep.
But it didn't show any. It didn't bring one time up. Let's click it and see what happens. See, the probably it's one of those references to the Strongs that Wade Balzer has a specific reason why, you know, structurally he doesn't put it in. There's a reason why. I rarely run into that though, rarely. But that's probably one of those. Same here. Let's look. Whoops. Gotta look at this one. Whoa, look at all them. So let's see. And these are all alphabetical. So I don't see eagles in here. Here's enemy. Well, maybe it's not alphabetical. Look, here's bees down here. Yeah, this is way too many. My goodness sake.
Oh, I saw one. There's one eagles at the very bottom. It says
Okay.
there's 3. It's in the middle somewhere. Oh, I don't see it.
Don't see it now. I'm sure it's there. It's just we're not seeing it. But that's one good way. This, I would never search this one just because that's just too many. But it's good for you to know how you can find the word. See, just like that. Just clicking that, clicking that. Now this one's found 2 times. Eagles and eagle, 1 time each. This one is found eagle and eagles, 1 time each. No, 20 times this eagle, 6 times this eagles. And then the Greek has 2 eagle. So I'd go with that one. It has a pretty good amount, 20 in this area and 6 in this one. The eagles. So I'd put 5404 in there. See, they pulled up the eagle and the eagles, plural, and your number. Okay, first I got to ask you, in what reference are we looking for? See, you need to have kind of an idea the direction you're going to go. You know, like you're taking a trip. Okay, I got this car. Now, where are we going to take it? You know, you got to kind of know where you're going, the direction you're headed, or you're just floundering. You know, so that's why it's so personal, Dondee, that these studies, based on the way that you heard that reference being used, what it conjures up in you. Now I know what it conjures up in me, America. You know, that's what I think when I think eagle. But what does it say to you?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like when the eagles return, there'll be more eagles sighted, and it'll have to do with God's promise to America. So maybe patriotic.
I think there's a prophecy, a Jewish prophecy in there. I've heard that one before. Even Jonathan, what's his name? He said that before. No, not that's not his name. Stone. You know who I'm talking about? I know the prophecy by this guy named Stone. He gave a prophecy about the eagles, how they would return. Is that the reference there?
Yes, that came up in prayer. Yeah.
When the eagles return, I don't know where.
The eagles are excited more. Yeah, the eagles is going to be a sign.
That would be a sign.
God hasn't left America.
So more eagles. Okay. Okay. Well. All right. Let's go. Let's look at these eagles then in the plural. So here's. I'm just scrolling through the references here. There's how many? 20? 20? No, that's eagles and this number. There's 26 references for this though. So where are the rest of them? All right, here's eagle's wings. So maybe like eagles and the word I had it just a second ago. The word multiply or an abundance of, you know, that's what I'm kind of wondering if there's
Or as a sign or a promise.
Okay, a sign or a prophecy. Maybe with
Prophecy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
an eagle. Let's look for those. If there's anything. Nope, not in this one. Okay. Sign. Signal, a sign. How about sign? No, nothing. In all of these it searches, you know. Signet, sign, significant, signet. But okay, so there's nothing direct with that. But let's go to these prophetic books here, down here. I really like this one here. Now, baldness as the eagle. Bald means naked, made bare. This is the last reference here.
Okay, maybe we need a different subject.
Different matter. Okay. Well, let's take the jewel, shall we?
Okay.
Because you still have to do that one. So maybe we could do it together.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what we find. Now, where would you like to go? Here is a phone spelling, numeric spelling. This is the jewel Webster and its number. And this is the alphabetical listing, 6237. And over here is the Hebrew words that you have to choose from.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the ladies went here.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at.
So you want to go there too?
I think that's the one I saw, that it was about the jewel in the nose. I saw that.
That's the first reference. Okay, but if you look at the first reference of this one, you look at it's Rivka. See?
Oh.
And it's a plural. But nobody took that one, interestingly. I thought that was kind of odd, you know, that they didn't pick that one. That's just the way people are led, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But see what the meaning is? It's the word Kelly. Isn't that interesting? Kelly. And it means an apparatus, something prepared ahead of time, you know, something prepared to be used for something else, like furniture, and then even an instrument, and obviously a jewel. Did you know a wife is also a instrument, you'd hate to say it, even an apparatus, she adds to the use of the man. You see what I mean? So she is not a piece of furniture or anything, you know, nothing like that. But I mean, she is, she's a vessel for his purpose, for his use. You know,
weapon.
The woman is the help meet. We help meet their needs. And interestingly, it's totally different than the way we've been raised. Women, you know, we the women are the top of the line, but in God's eyes, we're all the same. There's no male and no female. We're all the same in Christ. But in the Old Testament, it definitely puts the man ahead of the woman. Okay, so here we have the jewels. Okay, and let's run with the jewels here. Okay, mm-hmm. What number stands out to you, if anyone? Or what would you like to do? Would you like to add something up here or search?
When I think of a jewel, I think of a precious thing.
Okay.
So maybe H40330, we can see where that goes.
Good deal. Precious. Okay, precious is a gem. Migdana. Migdana, and it's next to Magog. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's just a number. It has nothing to do other than the MAG. MG right there, that's it. So here's the first, it's the first one we're looking at because see, you've zeroed it out. So this is the very verse we're looking at. Now it's distancing to the next one, the next precious thing. Okay, and it's got gifts of silver, gold, the Father gave them, fenced cities, okay, because he was the firstborn, a kingdom, Jehoram. Okay, many gifts, presents. There's only 4 references here. Hezekiah, king of Judah, he was magnified in the sight of all nations from henceforth. Nations are there. And all that were about them strengthened their hands and vessels of silver, gold, and goods and beasts, precious things besides all that was willingly offered. Okay, so it was an offering. Now, precious things here, mother, and to her mother precious things. Interesting. So let's put, let's go to the gematria first.
Okay.
Let's click into that and see where it takes us, if anywhere. Okay. It's change and Joseph. Now, we're thinking of Rivka, we're thinking of jewels, we're thinking of precious things, and we see change, you know, where's, and then this associate here, dishonor and more greater degree. Well, that would fit with a precious thing, right? Something higher value is a greater thing. And this is the distance to the Helef, change. You notice it's a name. All right, and then we go down to the references. Joseph here. Joseph is the Greek. And I see here when Mary was espoused to Joseph, well, there's a marriage there. Okay, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Here's a distance. Okay, so the name is Joseph, and they give you the first 3 references and the last one. The last place Joseph is found is in the 12 tribes, 144,000. Okay, so anything stand out there to you?
No.
Nothing stands out? Okay, well, let's go back and go to the verse from the end, okay? Because this is from Revelation. This is from Revelation. Okay, so we see these words, we see this, flee.
Flee. Okay.
And then we see every man has received the gift. Even so, minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God, 1 Peter. Okay, there's a gift here. And silver and gold here. Look at that. Oh, that's the same one. Hello. You know, we were actually going that one. We were traveling through that one. Okay, now look at this. Only, see, they're talking about Joseph here, just like we had in the Greek, we have in the Hebrew. This is Joseph too, another Joseph. So there's a connection there. And there's your distance if you wanted to make that connection. But then we see this, the times in which we're living. You see, this is Daniel 12, a time, times, and the half a time. And when he shall has accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things will be finished. So that's an end times where we're at right now. Okay, so if you wanted to connect that scripture about Rivka and the jewel to end times, there would be your distance right here. Okay, but which one? And let's see, the blind, and okay, this is the healing of the blind men. This isn't the one that's born blind. This is the one, this is a couple of people, I think, born blind. Not born, that were blind, okay? And they were healed. Okay, that doesn't quite fit.
I think it's interesting that Joseph keeps popping up.
The second reference of Joseph here. And he's put over the head of of the whole household of Egypt here. So we see that concept becoming greater, you know, like the greater value that we saw up above here. That was in the other reference that we were looking at. It was a greater value, and you see greater here. Okay, so let's follow this distance. First off, the shipmen, and give away, restore, repay. Okay. It gives you two references, and same with this one right next door. A galley, navy of ships. I can't put my mind there. It's too big of a jump. You see, when my mind is like, wow, that's way big of a theme jump. Okay, but to give away, that's more closer. Okay, 8 and 18, and then quickly, something that with all speed, very, very quickly something. Okay, so here's your ships. And here is, verily I say to you, thou shalt by no means come out thence till you've paid the uttermost farthing. Behold, I come quickly, that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father, which is in secret, himself shall reward you openly. Thou shalt not forswear yourself, perform unto the Lord your oaths. See, now you're given before and after. It's not the same number, but it's one's before and after, Hebrew and Greek. And then we see Jonah, Matthew, 2 Peter. These are position numbers. That means it's set on one of the pillars. This is from the beginning. This is from the end. So this is talking about Old Testament here. And then you get into the New. That's kind of the way I view that. This is the Old Testament. This is the New. The references for the position. You see what I'm saying? They're going from the beginning. This is the end of the Old Testament. And this here is the beginning of the New Testament, because the next verse is the beginning of Matthew. And here's Revelation. So see, they're just covering first beginning to end of each book. And the verses that they're associated with. Okay, so now you want to get yourself back and familiarize yourself with what you've seen or what you're following here. It's Joseph. Okay, we're looking at Joseph, and we're connecting Joseph now with Jewel, the Joseph. Okay, Joseph with the jewel. Joseph with the jewel. And okay, how does this relate? How would that relate to each other? Jewel with Joseph. Okay, we know he's a treasure to God. He suffered like the Christians do, put in prison, you know.
And he was put in a position where he counted lots of jewels, right? For the Pharaoh.
I imagine. Okay, hear, O Israel. Okay.
I don't know how that fits, really.
Yeah. Well, there's 100,000 ways you can go, obviously, with a study. That's for sure. All right, let's go to the verse number. You got to find a connection. You know, it's like you're calling God's number, and there's a lot of ways you can position numbers, you know, all kinds of ways. And when you hit on something, you'll know it. But until you do, keep searching until you find the one you're looking for. And it'll speak to you. That's how you know. And you travel a little ways down the road, and when you hit on another thing and another thing, then you know. That's when you start a study. Okay, you have to travel a little ways down the road and say, oh, okay, I see, Lord, what you're telling me, and it's making sense now. It's a real storyline. So now I'm going to start a study, and I'm going to go and copy everything that I'm seeing. Okay, so here we go. We're in Genesis 27, which is with Rivka, right? Isaac trembled.
Yes.
Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? So this is after Rivka. This is Jacob and Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we have Isaac answered and said to Esau. The word is now. That's going to be a lot of references. So I would go to the Greek and see what that says. Or the Greek is up here actually. Drew his sword, struck off the ear, withdrawn about a stone's cast. Oh wow, that's the millennium. Draw away disciples after them. Okay. I want to see all the references of this draw. There's only 4. Draw disciples away after them. Okay. Well, let me show you what I did. Okay. When I took this verse, I like the brought forth jewels. Since we're looking for that word, okay, you want to find a reference around it. So I took this one and I add it together. All right, brought forth jewels. And we can jump off here because I know this leads somewhere. Okay. Whoa. Wait a second. Did I spell that right, or am I looking at something different? Yeah. Hold on. Here's my study on the jewel. Oh, okay. I went with that word, a jewel of thy forehead. So it's not on Rivka. It is the other jewel. It's another one.
Oh, it's a different.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5141 or.
Yeah, it's this one. Okay, and it says, well, that's with Rivka too. Put the earring on her face. Notice it's an earring. Mm-hmm. On her face, which is her nose, because the nose is on the face. And that's why they counter the swine. Okay, now let me go back and look at what a jewel on her forehead. Now that was down here, I think.
There it is.
Okay. And so I click that, and we can dig around in this verse and see where else it goes. But the jewel on the forehead and earrings in thine ear and a beautiful crown on thy head. So we see the body is being adorned. Okay, it's particularly the head. Ears, which is discernment. You discern with your ears, you hear and you judge. That's what they represent, scales. They represent scales that you weigh the information. You make a call, you make a judgment. Okay, and so then you see this, the head, obviously the mind is the judge. The mind, the head is the place where the judgment is made. And here he's putting, I will put a jewel on your forehead, which is the area that is prophecy. Literally, this is the area that God speaks about being able to foresee ahead of time, like a prophecy, a prophet. Yeah, so because the forehead is the first part of the head, it stands out above everything else. It's called the brow, which is overseeing the eyes, which the eyes see the future. And what I want to tell you is that when you study this way, you have to learn what the concepts are. And I'm still learning because I don't speak Hebrew or Greek. So you have to look up the words and get an overview of the meaning of the word before you can start tying verses together and understanding what he's showing you. Okay. So it's a good idea when you're first starting to look up these words, you know, what forehead, we know that this is the nose, right? It's part of the face because it's 639. That's the same number that we had with Rivka. So this is the nose that they use with the pig also, which ties with the discernment. No discernment. The pig has no discretion. And when you come to this form of study, you want to have knowledge with understanding, and then comes wisdom. Okay, so you have knowledge as like a foundation. Okay, you gather your information. And then when you stand back and look at that, now you can make a call, and that takes you to the next verse or understanding. And then you search scriptures that fit that understanding, and then you get an interpretation. You see, when you put them together, you get an interpretation which takes you to a sod level, which is like the Holy of Holies. You know, it's in that order. So that's, you know, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom in that order. And discretion is the basic, is the action of the whole thing, because you need to have discernment and in order to judge these matters. So it's almost like speaking to me too, because as a teacher, and you are learning to teach. So this is perfect for both of us, for all of the students and me, to study this, because God wants to tell you about how you go about doing this, performing these types of studies. You need first understanding, then you can move to, you know, the next level, and then the next level interpretation. So it has to be laid out, and that's going to take time. That doesn't just happen, you know, overnight. Sometimes you trudge through a lot of verses before you finally get something, you know, and it takes time, because you're gonna, as a newbie, you have to learn what God means by forehead. And there's a lot of different foreheads out there, and what foreheads mean. Let's go to another forehead, for instance, and see possibly what I was telling you about, how it had vision and things like this, you know, tied to it. Okay, this is the Greek, and this is 3 Hebrew words. Okay, so let's go to this one and see what it says. Okay, here it is. To be clear, conspicuous. The forehead as open and prominent. The brow, the forehead, impudent. That, you know, that makes me think of, I've made your forehead strong against their forehead. Okay, so that's that impudent. You're fighting, you see, mind to mind. You're arguing against, you know, someone else's viewpoint. Okay, which is that, you know, judgment again, discernment. Okay, so let's look at this one. Baldness in the forehead, by analogy, a bare spot on the right side of the cloth, bald forehead without hair, without covering. It's completely open, open vision and open understanding. Okay, let's go. We know that one, and then go to the Greek, and we see this one. The forehead as opposite the countenance, the face. Isn't that interesting? As opposite the countenance, or as opposite the countenance of the face. Look at the foreheads are what's sealed on the servants of the Lord, 144,000 here. So that's its first reference there. But, and that's another thing, Dondee, as you continue to study, there'll be words like forehead will come across as a vision, and they'll use forehead in the definition that you don't get here. You only get it when you actually stumble across it in one of the definitions. You see, they don't tell you that. They don't give you everything. And that's kind of frustrating, because you go across something and you know, oh man, I remember that word. Like I was telling you, I know that talks about your vision, you're like a prophecy, but that's in another reference. It's not the forehead word itself. It is a definition of another word, meaning, you know, the forehead, as in being able to see future or way off into the distance, like that eagle. So yeah, it's prophecy. You know, it is prophecy. I've seen it many times, but it's not in the listing. It's not in the listing. You'll find it later. You know, it's one of them things you'll discover along the way, that they don't just give you. He doesn't do that. He doesn't give you everything at this site. You know, that's where you got to put the time in. Okay, so
you could go from jewel to forehead, and then the seal that God puts on your forehead is a jewel. It's a rare and a precious thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, the connections there, because we did have the word over here. Well, no, not here. Where was that seal that we saw? And did we see a seal? No, I'm not sure we saw this.
It was under forehead, and it was one of the scriptures under one of the translations of forehead.
Oh, with the in the Greek, right? Mm-hmm. I got you with that. So you want to connect those two, this verse and that particular word as a sealing, mm-hmm. or you could look at the word seal or signet. You know, it just depends on what you want to go for.
And the signet is also a ring, oftentimes, of a king. So,
and you know what? It's interesting, because the Jews, they put that Teflon box on their head, and it has a sheen, a W, but it's engraved. And so when it presses against their head, it's literally comes back. When you take it off, it's literally showing the indentation of the inside of the W. You know what I mean?
Like it's like a crown.
It shows you this part, not these parts of the W. And so it's the actual shape of the valleys of Israel. And where he puts his name, he says he'll put his name, and that's that sheen. That's that Shaddai, the sheen. Mm-hmm. And so they put that as a seal. You know, it literally seals, like a signet does an opposite. You know, like we saw that opposite, the countenance is the opposite of the face. Well, a signet does that. It does an opposite image of whatever you're sealing.
Oh, okay.
Into the wax, and it comes out, and it's opposite. It's reversed. And the stuff that's coming out is going in the clay, right? It's going in, and the stuff that's going in is coming out in the clay. See, so everything's opposite with a seal. It's like a mirror. It's like a mirror. So let's put in signet. Signet or seal, that's the same thing. There's 3 references here, all Hebrew. Okay, and we distance these. So I just scroll down and look at these distances, just because it's interesting to see. Here's a crown, gold, engravings. There's that engraving. I want to show you what that engraving is. It's really beautiful. Well, I think this was just like a word for head or something. No, sculpture, carved work. Yeah, carved work, engraven. And then this one is, I think it's open, means to open. Yeah, open wide. Carve here. So that's that forehead open, you know, that open bald area. You can see why God is talking about they had the seal of God in their forehead. Okay, they had the carving. Something that's carved is a work, is done by hands, okay? You literally carve it out with your tools, with your hand. So we see this open wide concept here. Open, ungird, unstop, have vent, draw out. Okay.
Free.
Sculpture. Okay, so let's go back here. Also, the word, when they set a stone in a ring, it's set, and that setting is also a engraved place, and then you set the stone in it, and it literally acts as like an envelope, or it's a covering, kind of like it's a very unique concept. I love the concept that they make there, and I'm not getting the right word in my mind for it, but the settings of these rings, signet. Okay. Here's Tamar. She's taken the signet, the bracelet, just like the bracelet means to tie something together, one thing after another. 19630. Okay. Any scripture here stand out to you? Stone was brought late at the mouth of the den. Okay, Daniel and his signet ring here, Zerubbabel and his signet ring. You wanted to kind of go with the 144,000, didn't you?
Yeah.
That one. Okay.
The seal on their forehead.
Yeah. Seal. Forehead. Seal forehead. Oh, brother. Must not be exactly that. It's sealed, right? I'm sure it's sealed. No, brother, it's still not that. See how you got to get it just right? Oh, boy.
What
So
if you put a star by it? Yeah.
Maybe it'll find it. No, still not that? Are you kidding me? Sealed in their forehead. We saw it. Okay, well, it's sealed foreheads. It's plural. That's why it wasn't giving it to us, because we didn't plural it. We didn't plural the forehead.
Okay.
That's why it wouldn't find it.
When we starred everything, we put the asterisk by them.
Yeah. Okay, so here's your distances. Let's check those out. 10039. Okay, waver in opinion, duplicate doubt, mentally. Ah, there's that mind thing again. Remember, discernment?
Mm-hmm.
There's a discernment. Now let's see Ezekiel 16, where we're starting from. Okay, it's the jewel on the forehead. Ah, now you see what I'm connecting there. You should be connecting that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we got this opinion is duplicating doubt. All right, so let's go down and see. We haven't clicked this word. You haven't clicked it. So you're not searching that concept. Just note that you want to pay attention to both these words and kind of put them in your mind. Now you're going to search the number, and you're going to see, okay, silver and gold here, Hezekiah. Scrolling here, kind of glancing at the verses. Okay, and I think what we'll do is oh gosh, I counsel you to buy gold tried in the fire. 144,000 will be and have been tried in the fire, wouldn't you say? The shame of your nakedness do not appear. So this is the Laodicean church here. Laodicean. Let's go back and click this one. I would say click this one because this is the only one that spoke to me.
Yes.
Okay, so now when you click that, before you click it, go back to where you were and start distancing from this verse, okay, that has it, or this one, whichever one you'd like. I'd click this one. All right. Wait a second. What was that number? I forgot the number already. 1769? No, 1365. Okay. So put this in and put in G 1, 3, 6, 5. Okay, so here's your doubts. Why do you doubt? Okay, oh, you of little faith. Wow. When they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. 6601, that's kind of close to that other one that we were looking, 6603. Remember that? We had 6603 in a distance. Well, here's 6601 to open. Wow. Okay, you've already got some connections God's making here, isn't he? To open, to make room, enlarge, even delude in a sinister way, you know, to the simple are, because why? Because they're not discerning. They don't have knowledge yet. They don't have understanding. They don't have experience. They're deceived. That's why a lot of people in cults, they like to get you right off the bat when you're a brand new Christian. They bring all their books to your door, try to sell you all their books that we've rewritten the Bible so you can understand it. You know what I mean? And don't you want them? These are beautiful, hardbacked. That's what happened to me. And they get you, you are gung-ho to do it. Well, then you go and have a barbecue with your pastor and his wife that night and mention that you just bought all these books. And they're like, from who? And I said, well, Seventh-day Adventist. Oh my gosh, that's a cult. And she says, I used to be in that group, so I know all about it. It is, you need to get those books back. And what the Lord told me to tell him, I was so embarrassed to have him come back and take the books back. And the Lord told me to tell him that you have to learn how to identify the truth before you can vary from it. Isn't that ironic that you have to know what the Bible says, you have to know what the real dollar bill looks like before you can recognize a counterfeit.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know a counterfeit. That's the only way you know. You examine the real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they want you not examining the real. They give you what they want you to see. And God is warning us. He says, you got to know, like this language, you have to know what the real is before you can discern. You see what a counterfeit is. So right here, you're seeing the Lord speak that they doubt, the doubting, the simple, the silly, they can be deluded. And here they were. Some doubted. Little faith. Some doubted. So there's your open right here, which goes with the concept that we're looking for with the forehead. They're marked on the forehead. When they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. Yeah, other people doubted it. So I like that. There's a definite connection there. Nothing major yet to me, but I would go with this one and do something with it. I would do something with this one. I like the 6601, so let's go to that 6601 and all the references of it and distance that. Japheth is being enlarged. You see the opening here? So be thou enlarged. Your understanding needs to be enlarged. Your education needs to be enlarged. Okay, your mind needs to be enlarged. Here's entice, same word, used in a negative. You see that simple one that was diluted in a sinister way. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. And we got down here, deceived. Same exact Hebrew word. One's positive, the other's negative. 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 Look at all these. Look at all the negative references. Silly one, the foolish man. See? Wow, there's a warning here. That's what you're seeing. A lot of warning against being deceived. So you just look at these numbers too. But not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips. Now this doesn't really relate to where we were thinking, does it? The starting point was a good point, but because you chose the forehead and the signet, which led you to the 144,000, Now God's saying, a teaching about discernment. And where do you see the 100? Is there a discernment with the 144,000? We know that there's no guile in their mouth. Let me ask you, are you real familiar with the word? Very familiar with the word, or a basic understanding of the word?
So, well, in the past 4 years, whenever I basically came back to God, I've read the Bible twice. So I'm kind of familiar with the word. I'm in it every day.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's a good place then. Good place to start.
I did get to go to Jerusalem for the Feast of Tabernacles, October 2019. Wow. It's been since then, so that was a God thing. God took me there because he wanted me to learn to walk where he walked and do the things he did. So it's been a fast crash course, but I've been very educated in the past 4 years.
Good. That's kind of the way I was too. Very fast. Because God's got he's got us in a special time, and there's not a lot of time left really in this age before we move into something completely different and new. So I think he's downloading a lot of information and not much time for us all right now. Yeah. Okay. So is it in this verse? Let's go and distance this back to where we started. One of the verses that we were starting in, was it Ezekiel 16, where we had the jewel? Let's go back to the jewel from this one. Okay, because I just don't remember the exact one. Here it is.
You really have to have that notes program so you can remember. You know, I'm kind of making notes here, and it's starting to look like a family tree. Where I start with a number and then I draw a line and then do another number.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Good. So we're distancing now back to the jewel. He will level, and the word mansion. Oh, well, you know what a mansion is? That's a wide place. A mansion is very roomy. Very roomy. Okay, and here God is abiding in this mansion. It's like a celestial thing, like a heavenly abode, like the tabernacle even is in heaven. In my Father's house, see, my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you I go to prepare a place for you. Wow, for you. We will come and make our abode, our mansion with him. Now, okay, that makes sense to me, because the forehead, tabernacle. Remember we were talking about the outer court, the inner court, and the Holy of Holies, kind of in these 3 levels, or, you know, you got to start with understanding, and then you move to wisdom, and, you know, and then you move to interpretation like this. Well, this is the tabernacle of God, and we're literally probing the universe, probing God's mind, and he's probing yours, and we're trying to find connections, just like you do in a conversation with people. You try to make connections with them. Okay, so I put a jewel on your forehead, and earrings in your ears, and a beautiful crown on your head. This is a wonderful scripture. And here, when we distance the 2 verses about, you know, some believed, but some didn't. You know,
some doubted.
Some doubted. That's right. You get this word, in my Father's house are many mansions. I would go with this. This is good to me. This seems good to me. How about you? Does it seem good to you?
Yes. Let's build on this and see where it goes.
Okay. So now I would get my notes out, which, you know, this is my notes, and then I'd start a study, you see. And so you get a new note going. Okay, you get a new note going. This is how I do my studies, see. And you backtrack. Okay, say you like this one. And you copy that. And then you put that up there. Okay. Whoa, what did it just do? My goodness. I made a new note.
Criminal penalties.
Yeah, right there. Okay, so now we're going to go back. And we're following, well, not that far back. Now we're following this, right? We're following that number. So you copy that and you paste it up above. See, we're going backwards. We got to go backwards. So now you got to put this verses where we're distancing from or to backwards. We're going backwards. Then we go back and we go to Matthew 28, right? Matthew 28 right here. Copy, paste, copy, paste. See, so you can see where you're going. All right. Now that's not alone. We got to find this number. This is the one we were following. So we got to go back here and grab this one. This one. Some doubted because that was the number we liked. You see how I'm doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take this one out because it's got our number in it. This has got our number that we're following. We want to keep that one in there. Okay. And this is the open, the word open. Whoop. We'll put that in. Here. And go back to this. Is the one. No, is this? Yeah, we were actually. Yep, it is a distance from that verse. So let's put this one in. Let's go back one more though, because it might have a number in it that we're looking for. No, it's just these two words.
This is really helping me when when you put it all down, you go back and you find it all, and then you put it together and then read through it again. And then you've got your understanding, wisdom, you've got knowledge, and then your understanding when you read it back. Right. And then you ask for wisdom, and then you get the interpretation.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And that's the jewel in the forehead.
Hmm.
That's the jewel in the forehead. He puts the jewel in your forehead then, because you are a discerning, discriminative woman, like a bride. Okay, now we started from Ezekiel 16, which is about the jewel, which we want that word jewel. So we're going to go back in till we get it down here. See how the number's in it? We want that one. We want the one with the number in it. Come on, pick it up. Okay. So that's where we started. All right, put a jewel in your forehead. And then we went to the seal of the forehead. See, that makes sense. And the distance is here, which we don't have a connection with this to this. So what was the connection? 10039 was the Strong's number associate for that number. So you go to where it is. See, I have an Apple. I can just slide my, because it never lets go of your pages until you exit out. It remembers every page you're on. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
Okay, so here's your doubt. It's associate, and you got to put that in. You see, just highlight the whole thing, go to your note, paste it in. This is how I do my studies, just like this. Now you see the connection here, and you can highlight it, you can put an asterisk by it. That's the number you're following there, not this one, but this one. And it's right here in the Greek, doubt. They saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. Distance 6601. And we got, since we'd left off, we didn't connect that. Why did we like this one? Because it's the word open, which is tied with the forehead, which we had before. But if you don't want to go back and pull all that in, I just take the 6601, and go and look it up and put it in. Okay, just go and get it and put it in so that they can see what it means. And that it ties with a forehead concept, that open area. And if you want to show them what forehead is, it'd be up here. You'd say, well, let me define what the forehead is first. Okay, so you go to the forehead, 3359. Actually, I don't want that one. I want one of those Old Testament words. This is New Testament here. Okay, it was the forehead right here. That's the one we want. Okay, Dondee, that's the one we want. The one in Ezekiel 16. So see how I just pushed it? I just pushed the 12 on that verse. You see how I did that? I just clicked that because I want to distance from here. So even on my notes, I see it's highlighted. It's got the hand. So even on my notes, I can click it and go straight to the site.
Oh, wow.
See, that's what's awesome about Apple. So I can click that 12 and take me straight to distancing from that verse. And I want this word here, this forehead, which isn't quite the open, that term open that I was looking for, that we discovered as a distance. Remember, we discovered that as a distance, and that was a confirmation to us. Okay, so we want to put that up here with this one right here, the forehead. This forehead. How did we get that 6604? Hold on, let me go back to history. Here it is, 6603, 6605, from Exodus 39:30, which was, we were looking for signet.
Signet ring, yeah. Jewel.
And there we are, 33, that's where we was with the forehead in the Greek. And then we're going to the signet, 39:30, Exodus 39:30. Let's try it out. Exodus 39:30. Oh yeah, I remember that distance. Do you remember seeing that number? I remember that one. We were looking at the engraving. See, the engraving here is 6603. That's something. So 6603 is engraving. I don't know if I can put that in here. I know that that would be an additional. When you throw that other verse in there, it'd be an additional. So I would just leave it out. But that particular word forehead is the nose, and this is his forehead by a roomy place. Here's forehead, see? Forehead in the meaning of that verse. That one, I mean. See how I don't want that box, because I don't need those numbers. If you don't need them and you're not using them, don't use them. Okay, that's just confusing. Be very specific. So do that, you know, don't put these in there. I didn't think I put that, but there we go. We want just that. And then this engraving, we really don't need it, actually. It's just added. We don't really need it. We understand that this forehead is right here. Okay, you can highlight it. You can underline it, make it big. Okay, so forehead here, forehead there, and then we got forehead here. So you went from Hebrew to Greek with the foreheads, and the distance is this 10039. Now that's an extension of 139. That's another way of looking at it. That's really a sewed level. Okay, Dondee, that's a sewed level type of a maneuver right there. I wouldn't do that if I was you right off the bat, because you get more confused. Just keep it simple. Okay, be too, like Michele will do all these, you know, gymnastics, but I want you to just do simple. Keep real simple and basic so you get an understanding and you get your bearings about you.
Okay.
So this open is this roomy place. Okay, and it can be used in a lot of ways. It can be used bad, right? But look, God highlighted this particular word. Remember, in the mansion that he's taken us to, the many mansions. Okay, we like that. So how does the mansion fit with the roomy? Roomy. Oh, that makes me think of the Japhethah. Japhethah, his name means enlarged. And his tent was enlarged, roomy. Japhethah means enlarged, believe it or not. So my father's house in his tabernacle is this, you see, it's like it's his head. It's like the head is his tabernacle. He rooms, you know, in your thoughts, in your mind. Wow. Let's see. Father's house. I like that. I like the mansions because that's part of our word. So let's stick with that. That's normal. We want to use the many mansions. How about just do that? Many mansions. Okay. I like father's house though. I like that particular word. Here's the word Shabua. Now this is an oath, okay? Where you're making a promise, an oath to God. You're swearing, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, house of the sun and neck. Not so much there. Genesis 24 though, look at there. You're back to who? Rivka. This is Rivka. And this word 600 is to reveal. Okay, we know that God's revealing himself in the mansion. My father's house are many mansions. So let's go back. I want to add up father's house. You see, you're learning, but one of these days you're going to be drawn to a certain particular phrase. Okay, it's usually right around where he led you. So you try that first. So let's go to the one after. 3, 4, 3, 8, and the word if. 1, 4, 8, 7. See? So you add those two now. If. Okay, fatness. Well, and then building together. That could be definitely. Suno, that's together. Oikodomeo. And then you click this one. Click this one. It's going to construct is the word. Oh, look at there. Construct a house. Bingo. Guess what? You just hit a bingo there. Okay. That's what you want. You want God saying, I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'm picking it up. Okay, now we're running. We're running with God, and it's like the gears are engaged. You know, your gears are engaging with his now. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you want. That's when things just start really flying. And you begin to really communicate with God. You're in his mind and he's got you. He recognizes you're there, and we're communicating this way. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm. So then you would go to that number 3619 and start reading scripture.
No, 3618 is your house. Okay, and that was this. Sometimes, you see how I did that? In order to understand, you have to go to the root words. And let's put this one in though, because that's where we got it. You got to tell them where you got it. And that's a lot of the tedious part of this type of study, is not forgetting to link everything so they know they can follow where you're going. Now, how do we get that number, Dondee? How did we get this? Do you remember?
We were mansions.
Yes.
And
mansions if. Remember, we added many mansions and didn't find anything. So we
that's right.
If. And so you copy that, bring it over. My dog wants in. And then we're going to add that up. 4925 is the addition. So that fits the concept, you see.
Mm-hmm.
That fits. So we followed this one. So you're going to highlight that. Make that big so they know you're following that number. You could have went there and you still can. You still can if you want to know. I think it's this part right here of the word, because they always break it in two. Suno kodomeo. Guys. What? What? Did we get shut off, Dondee?
We did. We did. It's okay.
Well, it got us brought back in, and now it's recording it. So like we never even missed a beat, you know? So let me go. You still have time, or you need to go?
No, I still have time.
Got a little time? Okay.
This is helping me structure the whole study. Yeah. I like to see the picture.
Good, good, good. And I'm sure you're not the only one. What's it say? You cannot what? I don't know what that said, but oh, brother. Okay, wait a second. This is crazy. It says you cannot minimize it when you're recording. And I'm like, I just have been doing that, haven't I? Oh, golly.
You're screen sharing.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh. Okay, here we go. So we got that added up there. Now, let's go back to the notes here. Now, 3618, we've now transferred over to this one. But let's look at this one. Okay, because it still means the same thing as this one.
I can't see your screen though.
Oh, I'm not sharing. Oh, I got you. Okay, let's see here. And share it. All right. So let's go to this number, 4925. It's having a hard time. Huh. Really? Having a hard time. I think I must have really bad internet or something. Site. Huh. Not moving for me. There we go. Goodness sake. Okay. In whom you are also builded together for an habitation of God's through the Spirit. Wow. That's goody. It's a goody there. I'm going to keep that. Like that. All right. That's just that. The only reference. So you'd say that. You'd say only reference, right? That's it. That's very fitting with the mansion.
Number always pops up for me. 222.
Yeah. So you would be drawn to do the 222? Is that what you're saying?
I would.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that, all right, let's go there. Let's go to this. They give it to you right there. Click that. Oh, still won't go. It's going, it's just slow. Okay, that's the flame of God, Uriel. Whoa, that would fit. Yeah. Tabernacle, mansion, flame of God. Let's see here. I'm going to put that under here. We may not need this one. If we do, it would just be in addition to the meaning of that one up above to add to clarification. So now you've moved to the flame of God. And how do you connect that with this verse, Dondee? How would you make that connection? What would it be? With this
the Spirit?
Yeah, exactly. The Spirit. The Spirit is a what?
It's a flame.
Yep, it's a fire.
Yes.
Here, water, fire, wind, right?
Yes.
All
Mm-hmm.
those natural elements are a picture of and oil, right? Oil makes the flame, oil makes in the candlestick. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you want to highlight that spirit there, underline it if you will. Okay, so we and also you would go and click the verse number, and then hit that chapter verse. Gosh, it's so slow. It's ridiculous. Wow. You know why? Well, I'll just highlight it. Okay. So, do you want to follow that 2222 then and distance it from this? Or what is it telling you you want to do with that? You want to distance to this, that, and this, and connect this with the mansions? Or the forehead and the jewel and the spirit? What would make more sense? Or the roominess? Oil is abundant, super abundant. Okay, that would be this one. Sealed the servants of God in their foreheads. We might want to just move all the way back to that one.
Yeah, we could
do 2. Okay, so we'll do 222. I click the verse number. Let's see how long it takes it to bring this up. Close some of this out because dragging it down, I guess. Just don't want to do it. Why? Can't get my internet to work. If you don't have the ability to distance, I don't know where you're going to be. You have to do it by hand, I guess. No, you can't do it by hand. I don't know why it won't let me have it. Let's see. Well, let's look at what we got. All right, now this is your study so far on the jewel, okay? And with my help, okay? But this is just teaching you how to connect dots, and like he said, you watched the video, Wade Baldwin was saying, the universe is like the Bible. And you see the constellations, but you have to make the connections. The constellations are just dots in the sky, right? And there's no connection at all until you're shown the picture. And then you go, oh, I can see, oh yeah, I see the outline of that. But you have to be shown the picture first before you really see it. Usually, we have to have some frame of reference before we see it. And that's where the Lord starts telling you, okay, this is what I'm birthing in you, is this image or this thought or this revelation. And I want you to study that. And that's where then you make the connections, because he's birthed something in you. And then you make one connection after another as he shows you along the way. So we got I put a jewel on your forehead and earrings in your ears and a beautiful crown on your head. So the forehead is 639. 639 is the word right here. Also, right, you want to tell them what it also represents. It's the face, the forehead, the face, even the nose. And the nose is the place where, and the face is where is your identity. You understand the person by their face. And you see the nose is where the life breath goes in and out, right? The nose. So it's a perfect place to exhibit the Spirit of God. And even the nose itself, when it flares, lots of air is going through because there's a passion in you. It exhibits the emotional side of you. Okay. What's this? You know, what is that? When you see somebody doing that or breathing, are they mad? Are they angry? Are they passionate about something? That's exactly, Hebrew is very descriptive and very natural like that. Very natural. So you understand the spirit from the natural, so that you have to be able to connect that natural and act it out, speak it out, even as you're like, pretend like you're teaching it, like I'm right now. And you pretend you're being recorded and just start animating it, because you won't believe how much more revelation you get just by speaking what you understand out. Okay. Yes. So here it is, rapid breathing and passion right there. I didn't just make that up. I remembered that, see, with my study. So the nose is that place that exhibits this passion. And that's also jealousy. You know, when you're jealous, you breathe hard. And it's also connected with an animal that breathes hard, which is a lizard. Rapid breathing lizard.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like a reptile, very, very fast breathing.
Mm.
Crazy, huh? So you're going from one side, and well, they show you a pig with a jewel in the nose of a pig. You see, you need to use discretion. There's always a positive and a negative. And that's where your discretion comes in. Well, you've been given a jewel in your forehead. How? By wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's how you're given the jewel. It's not by saying, oh, I'm going to put the jewel in the pig's nose, and that's a good thing. No, that's wrong. And God shows you it's wrong in the scripture. He's like, a beautiful woman, you know, that lacks discretion is like a jewel in a pig's nose.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So God's telling you, this is how we're going to teach you, and why it's important for you to understand before you go and make a decision. Get some bearings about you of what these words mean, and listen to God's voice. You're just like a newborn baby right now, and he's holding you in his arms, and he's cherishing everything about you, and you're just looking up at his little face, and you're just adoring everything, and you listen to his voice, and you're just yearning to know who he is, his voice, his character, everything about him. And he's wanting to cherish you in this newborn state, you know? And so it's you're a brand new baby. You're a brand new baby to him, because you've just now embarked on this type of learning the spirit world, learning the spirit language in a way you've never heard it.
Like a baby.
Yes. And that's what the ladies said too. They completely relate to that.
Yeah.
My study led that. My study on the jewel led me to that very quickly. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh my gosh, you're making me cry. I'm like, oh, it does me too. I mean, it really is emotional, because we feel like babies. And I even say that to the Lord still today. I said, I'm just a baby. You know what? I feel like, who am I? Why me, Lord? Why did you give this? I'm just a baby. I'm a baby in a lot of ways. Okay, so don't be afraid to vocalize and bring out the message, because that's where a lot of your revelation will come. When I call Larry on the phone, it's like when I start speaking it, the revelation comes, okay? And that's what you want, because that's where God is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so next is we're going to follow this same concept of the forehead here, and we go to the New Testament. See how I'm transitioning them. I'm showing them Old Testament, New Testament. And where do we have the foreheads with the New Testament? You have the first reference here with the sealing of the servants of God. Well, that's what Rivka was, right? Rivka was a servant of God. And this person here is a servant of God, because God's putting the jewel in her forehead. And we distance those two, 10039. And that's a Strong's associate right here, 1365, which is in the Greek. You see how I'm telling them? It's the Greek. Duplicate, that is mentally to waver in opinion. So a double is a duplicate. Double-minded is what that means, right? Mm-hmm. Double-minded. not sure, unsure, kind of like what we are as babies, unsure which way to go. You see, that means we don't quite have the jewel in our forehead at this point, but because we're Christians, you're sealed, okay? You're already sealed, but he's probably not given you a jewel yet. The jewel comes after you've what? Gained discretion, gained understanding and wisdom. That isn't given to the baby, not yet. You see, that's what you're doing is learning though. You're listening to his voice. You're watching his face and his expression, and you're smelling him. You're using your senses. He smells this way, he smells that way. Oh, and his hands are just so soft. And then when he talks to me, it's so gentle, you know, and he smiles a lot. And then he touches my nose with his nose. You know what I'm saying? You learn to identify with his ways. You're just all infatuated with his ways. Okay, so we get this double-mindedness. Okay, that's where we're at on a lot of these things. Why? Because we're trying to interpret Hebrew with an American mindset. I'm serious. You have to rethink your mind. My husband gets very frustrated with me because I'll tell him what I'm seeing and he doesn't understand because he's thinking from an English perspective, not a Hebrew biblical perspective. Not even just Hebrew, but Greek too. So that's why it's imperative you study and get familiar. And I'm constantly telling him, well, in the Hebrew, it means this, or the Greek, it means this. So you can see the connection, you know, and, but it is a science. It literally is a science, an understanding we have to get. So let's follow this. Doubted. And when they saw him, they worshiped him. Now you could go to this verse right here. This is after his resurrection, Matthew 28, right? This is after he was resurrected. And you see, they saw him, they worshiped him. Now this is the disciples, no doubt, after he was resurrected, and they worshiped him. They realized he was Jesus, the Messiah, right? Because they're worshiping him now. But some doubted. Who do you think the doubted? And this is the one that's being highlighted here, the simple ones. And how are you simple? You don't understand. They didn't walk with Jesus. The disciples all believed, right? But these people aren't disciples. See? They didn't follow him. They don't know him. They didn't know him like these disciples did. So you can see why these other ones over here didn't believe. They doubted. So that's the one that God's concerned with. Double-minded. So the distance back to the 144,000 is 6601, which is this roomy. But it can be the simple, which they are simple. Okay, they are simple, and they can be easily misled then. Like the children in the 144,000 that I believe they are. They are the children because Rachel was weeping for her children, and he says, don't weep for these children because they are coming back. And they were the ones that were killed when the soldiers were looking for Jesus when Jesus was born. And when I distance all these verses, there's a teaching out there. And when I distance the verses that he's bringing up, and he's just guessing that it might be. He's putting it out there. It very well could be. It certainly looks like these children could literally be the 144,000 we're talking about. And when I distance the verses, I cannot believe it. It's all about Israel. It's all about children. And it is totally confirmed to me that that's who these people are. So that's the way I test it. I test everything. And then I make my judgment. That's the jewel in the head. That's the jewel. You just don't believe what he said. No, I tested it out. He says, I can show you in scripture where it lines out. Well, let me distance it and see. And then we'll see whether it lines out. You know, it lines out one way, but does it another? Because if it's the truth, it will. It will confirm itself. And that's where Larry comes in with his codes. He gets what I'm seeing in the codes. Not everything, but 80% of what I'm seeing, he gets. The translation from Greek to Hebrew is very difficult to do. It's not easy and it can't be exact. So it's not an exact science. but it's very close, and I help him. We get the best translation we can out of the whole thing, and we search it. So that's another a way of validating what you think you're seeing. Okay, so we got these children that have a big, you know, lots of room up there. There's lots of room up there, and they can be easy. They're simple-minded, and they can be led astray. Okay, so that to me ties with those children. And I see here Ezekiel, back to Ezekiel, and you distance that to those some doubted. Others, the disciples believed, but some doubted. You distance that and you get these many mansions. Whoa, God just took something natural and took it to the spirit realm. That's what he did. He took this roomy place that he was showing you here, this temple, and he took it to the heavens. You see how he did that? He just, now I want you to see it in the spiritual sense, in the spiritual eyes. See, my Father's house has many mansions, many rooms, roomy places. And if it weren't so, I would told you, but I go to prepare a place for you personally, Dondee. He's preparing a place for you. That's what he's doing in these studies. He's preparing a place for me, and he's preparing you a place. So now we've got confirmation here that the mind of Christ, you know what I'm saying? The mind of Christ, the jewel in the head is the discernment, the wisdom, and the knowledge. And this roomy place is associated also with the simple-minded. But then he takes it into the positive, doesn't he? With the mansions. He takes something negative and with children that can be deceived easily, but God loves the children, right? He even loves the doubter. He loves the doubters. He's out to win them over. And what do we see with the mansions then? He's in his Father's house is many mansions, many roomy places. And it's like he's talking to the children too. You know, even the doubters are out there. So let's add up mansions if. A mansions if added together is literally a building, something that's constructed in company with other Christians. That's interesting, to compose, to construct in company with other Christians. And we see the reference here is only one. Only one. So we've got doubters here, right? Doubters here, and also believers. That's what I'm seeing. In the mansions are doubters and believers. They're all in God's house because he knows who's going to come, you know, to him and when. Not that we don't have free will, obviously, but he knows everything. So right here is the only reference, in whom also are builded together. So it's not, a mansion isn't one by itself, it's all together. Okay, all of us together is the house of God, is the tabernacle of God, all together. It's like in one big thing. For a habitation of God, I like that, a habitation of God through the Spirit. And the Spirit is born again to hear God. If you're born again, you can hear God. And that's where you get the flame of God burning in you, alive and well and hot and on fire for God. You know, you hear that concept all the time. You're on fire for God. You're walking in the Spirit. You're hearing his voice. You're speaking his word. You're thinking about his word and his will and doing his word and his will. It's just never ending, you know, never ending and never a dull moment either. So Ephesians 22:22. In whom also you are builded together. Look at how it's the big one. It's the big one. And that's not fully loaded here. Yeah, but this one in the habitation. Okay, the habitation and the building are the biggies. Okay, so look, I'm interested in what this one would say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at that. Habitation. Okay, here we go. Dwelling place. Then they give you this one. Cato Caterian. All right, and we see this one. Cato Echesis, residence, very close, mansion. And then it still has the same number. So that is a good one still to follow, but let's go to the one before. So click it. And let's see what it says. It's really slow. Doesn't want to do anything. Is it dragging out there?
I see it loading, but yeah, it's slow on your end.
Mm-hmm. Very slow. Yeah, it doesn't want to pull it out. Let's look. Well, I have ways, I have tricks. I can take in 2730, right? I have tons of notes, so
You're so fast paced.
I am. I don't want to stick around waiting. But then you get the wheel, it drives me crazy. Okay.
So this was a really good practice for me because I need to see how you were cutting and pasting and laying things out, because I was doing that on my own, and then I'm just like, I just got lost because it was hard for me to trace back.
Okay, well, that's how you do it. You lay it out just as like he showed it to you, and then you can go back and look at what you have and flesh it out even farther. You can follow, you know, whoops, I didn't want to.
Or I could go back and go a different direction and then not get lost.
Right.
Because I could see myself making a turn with the 222 reference and going into a whole different type study, because that's a personal, that's personal for me.
Right there. But that's where your spirit is, and this has got the spirit, right? It's got the spirit on it. So you're right in doing that. It's right in doing that, and that is the flame of God. So it's very fitting right there. So yeah, my computer's just dragging, like I can't even pull this thing to go up. So I'm gonna stop sharing.
And I've got enough in my head right now.
Okay, good. Success.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this helped.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I'll stop recording here.